Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shah, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shah, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shah, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem, Orcha Kadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. Uh, Double honors to the man that taught our elders and apostles. So here in the last days, we would understand, who we are and the things that are to come. Um, our elders and apostles have taught us that, you know, we don't need the so-called, Israelite woman to build a nation, you know, because the man has the seed. The man has the seed, and the Israelite woman, she's a tool, like unto the earth. We don't need her to build a nation. We don't have to chase after her. We don't have to run after her. We can build a nation with any woman. The woman is likened to the ground. But let's get some because there have been Israelites. You know, uh, okay. Well, let's go to Jacob. Jacob had one daughter. Her name was Dinah. What happened there to the tribe of Dinah? You know, because the small hats, they go by the lineage of the mother, but yet, we Hebrew Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the seed comes from the father, and your lineage is found out through your father. This is Genesis chapter 30 and verse 21, and it says, well, let's get 30 and 20. It says, and Leah said, the Most High have endued me with a great dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bore a daughter and called her name Dinah. Okay, so let's look up the tribe of Dinah. There's I'm sure, let's see if we can find that tribe of Dinah. Dinah, Jacob's only daughter in the Bible, did not have a tribe associated with her. She was not one of the 12 sons of Jacob, who each became the patriarch of a tribe of Israel. Dinah's story is primarily about her rape and subsequent events in Genesis 34. So, yeah, I mean, patriarch, you know, the Lord deals with the patriarch, the Lord doesn't deal with a matriarch. So we don't need, you know, look up the word patriarch. Patriarch, the male head of a family or tribe. Any of the biblical figures regarding the fathers of the human race, especially Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their forefathers, are the sons of Jacob. So, yeah, the Lord deals with a patriarch, because we can find that there are plenty of instances where, you know, uh, because Ephraim and Manasseh, you got half tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, but who was their mother? So this is Genesis chapter 46 and verse 20. And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which Asenath, the daughter of Pharaoh, priest of On, bare unto him. So Joseph went into an Egyptian, and he had 2 children, and he came out with the half tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. So, you know, so this is an instance where, an Israelite lays with a heathen and the children are Israelites. So, I mean, really, that's good. That's good enough right there. That's good enough. But as as you would see in the scriptures, they have been perverted by Esau Edom. Yeah, we get this word. This is Deuteronomy. We're gonna start from the beginning, and we'll get it. I don't know if we're gonna get into that, but this is Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. It says, "He that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord." And the Lord, his name is Yahweh, which means he is, and his son's name is Yahweh Shah, which means he is the deliverer. And it says, verse 23 and 2, it says, "And a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of Yahweh." So you get this word bastard is H4464. It says, "From an unused root, meaning to alienate a mongrel born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother, bastard." And this is incorrect, because as we see, Ephraim and Manasseh were half tribes. You have the half tribe of Ephraim, the half tribe of Manasseh, which were Israelites, were of a not a Jewish father, but an Israelite father and a heathen mother. So this is a false definition. It says bastard, child of incest, illegitimate child, bastard, mixed population, born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother, or vice versa. No, this is incorrect. A mamzer is a born of a Hebrew Israelite mother and a heathen father. That means that he's not he would be considered a he would be considered of another nation. He would not be considered an Israelite. He would be considered whatever nation his father is, or in the ranks of the Israelites, he would be called a mamzer or a bastard. Illegitimate, because he doesn't he doesn't get any rights uh, in uh, uh, in Israel. He would be a stranger. Yeah. So it's got it right here. It says bastard, illegitimate child, i.e., the child's father is not an Israelite. So when you go into that Strong's definition of bastard, that's incorrect. But the little footnote there has it correct. But we have other we have several examples of this throughout the scriptures. Was not Ruth a Moabitess? So so this is Ruth chapter 4 and verse 13, and it says, "So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife, and when he went unto her, Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah gave her conception, and she bare a son." Okay, so but who was Ruth? Right here, this is Ruth chapter 4 and verse 5. "Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead unto his inheritance." So see right there, it says you have to raise up the dead, raise up the name of the dead unto his inheritance. So Boaz would go into Ruth and have an Israelite child. So Boaz went into Ruth, and they had Obed, which Obed had Jesse, which Jesse had King David, but it was a Moabitess. It says this is H4125. It says Moabite from the father. What father? So you understand that this H, it says patron, pa, patron, patronic, patronical from H4124 Ma Wa Ab Mawab Moab of his father, and we understand that the son of the son of Lot by his eldest daughter. So we understand who Moab was, but Moab was not an Israelite. And as it said, you know, an Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua forever. So a mamzer, a illegitimate child, one that is not an Israelite, meaning that they do not have an Israelite father, has no part in the covenants, uh, according to uh, Romans chapter 9. So there goes two instances where the Israelite father went into a heathen mother and had an Israelite child. I mean, you know, this happened. Okay, we can get one more example, really, and we can close it out. This is, you know, our Lord came out of the line of Judah, which Judah, come on, this is Genesis chapter 38 and verse 6. It says that Judah took a wife. Oh, let's go up. Salakia, let's go up. This is Genesis chapter 38 and verse 2. It says, and Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua. And he took her and went unto her, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife of his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. Okay, let's get that. Salakia. And Judah took a wife for his his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, go into thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother. So, I mean, this raising up seed to thy brother has to do with reincarnation. You know, it has to do with bringing that son back, and then for inherited rights. You know, for inherited rights, raising up seed for thy brother. You know, but so going into his wife, you know, to raise up seed for him for his inheritance, the brother that had died. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. See, he understood that the seed should not be his, it would be for his brother. And it came to pass when he went unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. So, you know, he was supposed to give seed to raise up his brother for his brother's inheritance, not for his inheritance. And the thing which he did displeased Yahweh, wherefore he slew him also. And then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house till Selah, my son, be grown. For he said, lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. So we understand that this Tamar could not have been an Israelite because Judah was an Israelite. And it doesn't say that Tamar was one of his brother's children. It doesn't say that she was one of his brother's children. So she had to be of another nation. So Judah, but as you read the whole story, when you read into the story, that Judah had children by her. We'll get it real quick. It says, and it came to pass about 3 months after that, you have to go back and read the story for yourself, that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. So, and this was a custom as well, because women were pure and they couldn't go out and lay with other men, because she was betrothed to uh, his son. She was betrothed to his son. So she couldn't go out. And that's why they said she played the harlot, but they was going to burn her. And when she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, I am with child. And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet, the bracelet, and the staff. Well, you have to read all of that. You have to go into the account. But either way, uh, Judah had children through her, and our Lord's lineage came through her. So, she was of another nation as well. So, we don't need the Israelite woman to bring forth seed to build a nation. All we just need is a woman, because the man has the seed. The man has the seed. The sperm is the seed. The sperm it brings forth the soul out of the father's lineage. You know, with that being said, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Raha Kadash, double honors to our elders and apostles. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. We're almost out of here. Kwam Yashala, and hopefully this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. Shalom.